Hi, I'm Linda Flores O'Brien. The Texas oil patch is hardly a place where broadcasting careers are born, but that was most certainly the case for Jim Lago. His co-workers insisted he was the funniest guy in the field, and upon their insistence, he applied for and was hired part-time at Longview's KLUE, and eventually joined the morning show alongside fellow inductee Glenn Ivey. The next step was the Golden Triangle at Beaumont's famed KTRM. Just 2 years later, he hit the big time on KULF in Houston. Sure, it was the all-night shift, but Lago knew what he was doing and deliberately saved his best bits for last, hoping they would be heard by his relief Hall of Famers Stevens and Pruitt. And that led him to afternoon drive in Space City in a matter of months. The Big 610 and FM 100 knew what they were about to face, so better than fight him, they hired him. And Lago joined KILT, which was in the process of retooling for a run at country powerhouse Kick. After 5 years near the Galveston coastline, Lago headed even farther south to Corpus Christi, where he maintained his chops as a jock at Z95, while making his transition to talk radio, and where he remains today, first at Keys, then his current home, 1360 KKTX, where he's been a permanent fixture in Morning Drive since 1996. Among his achievements, he was recognized by Mayor Henry Garrett for outstanding community service. The Corpus Christi Regional Economic Development Council presented him with their coveted Compass Award. And if you love baseball, treat yourself to a game by the hometown Corpus Christi Hooks, the team Jim Lago was instrumental in bringing to town. It is an honor for me to tell you his story and to welcome him in your ranks today. Jim Lago, a 2016 inductee of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame.
This part of Lago in the Morning is brought to you by Water Street Seafood Restaurant. The enormity of this whole thing is not even, I don't even understand it yet. I didn't know I'd been nominated. I was talking to my producer one morning. It was right after the 4th of July. And I was really happy that two friends of mine, Keith Bodie and Ken Schramm, had just been inducted into the Texas Baseball Hall of Fame. And I was going on about that. And I was going to take a break, play a commercial, and my producer said, "Hold it a minute." I said, "What?" "Well, you left something out." And I said, "No, I didn't." He said, "Yeah, you did. I'm looking at this Facebook post, and it says you were going to be inducted into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame in October." I went, "Get out of here." He said, "No, I'm serious." He said, "Where'd you get that information?" He said, "It's on Facebook." I said, "Well, hell." Forget that. And so from July until this moment right here, I've been expecting Steve Harvey to run up to me and say, "It's been a mistake." There are people inducted today that the thank yous, I guess I could spend the next 30 years thanking people. Glenn Ivey, who will be inducted today, gave me my first job in radio. John McCarty, a man who I think should be in the Hall of Fame, I hope he gets in soon, showed me how to run the equipment my first Saturday. And then he left, and I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "Hell, you don't need me." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Jeez, you sure you haven't done this before?" And then Tony Bridge, who not only told me how to sell, he told me how to close. And I think that was one of the most important lessons I learned. Al Caldwell, Gordon Baxter taught me the importance of having a history in a place that you are. And I wish I had listened more closely. Stevens and Pruitt were absolutely the most insane people that I've ever met in my life. And if you have never sat in a room with Jimmy Pruitt when he's doing four voices and his and talking to other people, you will believe that there are people who have body guests. I did save my best material. I was doing 2 to 6. Pruitt came in one morning and said, "You should be doing afternoons." I said, "I know. I've heard the girl that's doing it now." He said, "Well, do you want to do them?" I said, "Sure." So I did 2A to 6A for a week, and then, much to the chagrin of the program director, I was doing afternoons. And then I went over to Kilt because Pruitt crashed his plane with a plane load of guns. And I don't know, kind of took him out of the year for Father of the Year award that year. But I love Jimmy Pruitt, and I was really sad when he died here not too long ago, a couple of months ago. But I got to watch at Kilt the meshing of, they were putting together the new Hudson and Harrigan team. And I got to watch that every day. Fred and Randy, just inspirational guys. They were so nice. They were so kind. They were so different than I was. But they were so welcoming and, I don't know, just very unselfish with the things that they would share with you. Jim Carolla, I still have to pinch myself every once in a while to know that I worked with Jim Carolla, for God's sakes. And R.B. McIntyre, whom I just saw, and Linda, who did the voice for this intro, was my first intern. And, geez, I must have rubbed off on her well, because she really did good things. The things that have happened in this career of mine, for a guy who was just, well, let's see where this will go. That was all. I wasn't looking for a career. I wasn't looking for too much of anything except a paycheck, and I wanted to get out of the oil fields. My wife, Pamela, has been a person that has understood more than, from what I gather from some of my friends, anybody. She's just gone through thick and thin. The gratitude I feel today is unnerving. I didn't put KNUZ on my resume because I didn't have an on-the-air job there. In fact, I was talking to Art Yancey. I still have no idea why they were paying me, because I'd get up, drive to work in the morning, smoke some funny cigarettes, listen to music, go in, sit down at a desk right behind Dr. Bruce Nelson, and every morning I spent 3 to 5 minutes just admiring his hair. Walter Hammock, Joe Ladd, and Arch Yancey shared their experience with me, introduced me to people. And you know, when somebody introduces you to somebody else, they're vouching for you. I just wish Arch would have shared a little bit more of his wisdom. Like, one day, I might need all those erections I was giving away so freely. Thank you.